Well, it's because I reorganized my office, and I
Yeah, I saw
moved.
the accent lights.
Yeah, you see the blue?
Yeah,
It looks super cool at night. And then behind my desk, I have these four can lights that I put color LEDs in, so you can change the color
hmm
of those too.
nice, nice.
The idea was like I don't know about you. I found this weird that this was happening because I've been working from home for like 12 years. But during the pandemic, it seems like my work from home flow process has been totally disrupted, almost like I've never done it before. So like
hmm
my home office just was in a I think I mentioned it on a previous podcast I was listening to the other day that my home office is just in a state of disarray. Like everything is piled up on the desk, there's just junk everywhere. It just felt cluttered, it felt like stagnant. I needed a new energy flow.
hmm
So I wanted to rearrange my office, and I moved the desk. I have a bay window that looks out onto the front yard. I moved it into the bay window, and I loved the location of it. It
hmm
felt really good, but I also have glass doors on my office, and when I tested it out on camera, the entire image was just completely washed out because so much light was coming in. And then because my office window faces west. In the afternoon, I couldn't work. Like the light was just right in my face from the sun going down. So I tried different desk locations, and I ended up back to where I started. So apparently this is the right desk location. But in the midst of all of that, I did a lot of clean out. I reorganized all the drawers and cabinets in here. I cleaned up. I threw a bunch of stuff away. And I mentioned it felt like before I was being buried under like a slow moving avalanche. And now it just feels so much lighter and cleaner. So even though I didn't achieve my goal of rearranging the office, I think I ultimately got my goal of better energy flow and just a better feel in here. So then to
Nice,
top it
nice.
off, I added in some of the accent lighting, which was fun.
Very nice.
Yeah. My 5-year-old comes in and likes to play with it. There's a setting where it does like a slow fade rainbow to different colors, and that's his favorite. I'm like, it looks cool. I think it would make my head go crazy if that was on all day long. So,
Oh yeah, yeah. I bet it would.
you know,
Yeah, because I think it would just make anybody go crazy just doing that. Because it seems cool at first until you've got to sit there every day.
yeah, yeah, for sure. And normally I only turn them on if I don't have them on if unless I'm on camera.
hmm
So you get to enjoy the nice little blue glow. Or maybe we should change it to orange, match the
Yeah,
theme
you
of the
should. You should have it set
podcast.
to be orange when we're recording.
Yeah. Let me see if I have an orange setting. I do. It looks more green than orange. How about this one?
But yeah, it's kind of hard to see. During the day, we'd have to see what
Yeah,
it
it's
looks like
not
at
as
night.
bright. We'd have to do it at night. The blue shows up pretty decent during the day.
hmm
So there we go. Ah, so that's that. Feels good. Hopefully I can get some good creative work done. Be good with it. I also um, have been thinking about chairs, and I was asking Randy on Twitter because he just upgraded to like a gaming chair, and now that I have the whole gaming light set up, I need a gaming chair.
You need a gaming
Um,
chair.
but I was talking with one of our clients yesterday. Her husband is they've been told that their work from home is going to be extended into a good chunk of next year. Um,
hmm
and when they originally announced it, I think like a lot of people, she's like, "Oh, it'll be a few months. We'll be back in the office." And so I'm not going to really spend a lot of time on my office setup. Just kind of throw up a folding desk and call it good. But at this point into the work from home and looking like it's going to continue into next year, I think her, like a lot of people, are like, it makes sense for me to invest in my office. So I was chatting with her while her husband was installing new can lights. So that she had better lighting, and she was thinking about how to make it feel a little bit more comfortable. And we got talking about it, and it's like it's amazing how we spend so much of our time in this setting And a lot of us, and myself included, are very frugal, let's put it, when it comes to spending on making it nice. And it's like, this is crazy. We sit here all day long. Why wouldn't we spend a little bit of money to make it a little bit nicer? And we got talking about chairs, and the one that Randy was pointing out to me is $350 as I'm sitting on my like $50 Walmart special chair. And come to find out, $350 is considered budget category for office chairs.
Really? I did not know that.
Yes, and I got looking, and wow, our office chair's extremely expensive. I wouldn't know. I've always had these cheap chairs, but anyway, it was an interesting discussion on how it's okay to kind of make your space feel good and nice. You don't have to splurge, but we spend so much time here. Why not make it comfortable?
Yeah. Well, as far as I've got a standing desk, but I also have like a tall drafting chair for when I do want to sit down.
Mm-hmm.
And oh crap, do we have an echo?
Do we?
I thought maybe I heard an echo.
I don't hear an echo.
Hold on. No, I do hear an echo.
Weird.
Hello.
Yo.
Okay, I think it's gone now.
That's weird.
So I've got a tall drafting chair, and it's like the $99 Staples special.
Yeah.
And I mean, it gets the job done, but you're right. Like, if I were to do it again, I'd probably spend a bit more money on like a chair that's a bit more comfortable.
Yeah. Yep. Anyway, that's what I've been working on. What's new in your world?
Lots at the moment. You know, some stuff I'm not going to go into here. Just lots going on now. Understood.
You gonna get a little bit of downtime over the Thanksgiving break?
Yeah. You know, I'll be off Thursday and Friday because we're closed, and then I'm debating taking Monday off just to get an extra day in.
I think I have to check our internal calendar. My calendar says that Thanksgiving break starts on Wednesday.
See, I wasn't sure. I thought it was Thursday. I mean, now here's the thing. Maybe that's
one of our clients that has a break and it's shown up on my calendar. I say we take it. Jeez.
Yeah. I mean, like for me, I'm looking forward to it. I've got 2 meetings in the morning, and then pretty much everyone's gonna be done by noon, so I'll have like a good 5 hours uninterrupted, just to get some hack stuff done.
I probably should do the same. I don't know about you, but yesterday was brutal. It seemed like every one of my meetings that was Wednesday through Friday got shifted to Monday. Oh, yeah. It was like by 3 o'clock, I'm like, I'm wiped out, man. This is a lot. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So. Yeah,
I didn't necessarily have that happen. A lot of, in this case, this year. I mean, I've had it happen before. Don't get me wrong. This year, though, it seemed like a lot of people just canceled meetings, which I'm fine with. Like I've started to notice even today. Actually, I'm not going to say anything and jinx myself. But by like lunchtime tomorrow, most people are out of the office.
Yeah. That's good. We need some downtime, refresh, get back at it.
Yeah. What else is new with you? You know, non-work related.
That's about it. I'm trying to think what I have going on. Most of my day is spent working. I'm into Minecraft now all of a sudden, so I probably get a couple hours of that in. And then my 5-year-old, his new thing at night that he likes to do is he likes me to watch Minecraft videos on YouTube. And he's got like 3 or 4 YouTubers that he's just a super fan of. Mm-hmm. And he doesn't let me pick, and I don't necessarily enjoy his content, but for some reason he just finds it hilarious and entertaining. I'm like, this is so dumb. Like he likes these YouTubers that just kind of find a Minecraft world and mess around and mess with each other and have fun, and he thinks that's hilarious. I'm like, I want to see like the good stuff, like teach me how to build stuff and craft stuff and like
give me ideas,
give me the strategy. And he's like, yeah, it's boring. But he's been playing it for years, and I've like kind of watched over his shoulder playing. I'm like, I don't get this game. And then I don't know what it was, but he installed a version of it on the Xbox, and he wanted me to play with him one day, and I started playing, and like once I kind of got the gist of what the game was, I'm like, this is seriously addicting. So
Hmm.
his prize, as he's hey well as he's standing outside my door, his prize for doing his homework or doing his remote schoolwork, which he is not a fan of doing, is if he does it, then we get to play Minecraft on the Xbox.
Oh,
So,
fun. Oh, that's
yeah.
really cool.
Yep. So, anyway, it gives him something, but that, I mean, that's probably a whole other discussion. The interesting things we're seeing coming out of remote, companies trying to figure out remote work,
Hmm.
education systems trying to figure out remote learning. Man, it's they do a really good job with it, but from a psychology, trying to make it a one-to-one match of being in the school, like it just doesn't work. It's hard to get him to focus and have structured
Hmm.
time. But once he is, it's good. But it's a fight every day to get him to sit down and try to do it.
Yeah, I've seen that too. So, like, where the school district my wife works for, they've pretty much just picked up the classroom environment and translated it to remote to Zoom
Hmm.
work.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm getting that echo again. Weird. Um, but anyway, so can you try muting? Hello, hello. Yeah, it's weird. I'm getting some kind of feedback on your side. Um,
Hold on. Let me check my settings. So my mic is the Yeti, and my speaker is my. Let me try. Let me try this.
hello.
Hello, hello, hello.
I can hear you. Can you hear me? And there we go. The
Yes.
echo's gone.
So I hit on the audio section. I hit the echo cancellation checkbox,
Hmm.
but there shouldn't be any feedback because I don't have any external speaker going into the mic.
Yeah, it's weird. And it's faint. Only I can hear it.
Yeah, very weird. I don't know what that is.
Um, yeah. So as I was saying, like my wife, like the school district just basically picked up the school environment and moved it to online. So it's been a struggle, and like they've been trying to encourage the students like just do your best, like just please participate, just do your best. That's what counts. Like today is like parent teacher conferences, and it's over Zoom, and they were actually it was yesterday, today, and into this evening, and that's been just a common theme this year to everybody is we're all just trying to do our best and
Yeah.
try to figure this out.
Yep. Yeah, and it's hard, and I get it because it was such a compressed like try to figure it out, and I think everyone's doing their best, but it definitely has some tweaking that can be done to it for sure.
Yeah.
Um,
So it has been one heck of a year. And we
it
actually
has.
had this conversation this time last year, and I didn't
Mm,
re-listen to the episode, but I thought, you know what, let's revisit the topic. So we may repeat ourselves. Hopefully we don't. Hopefully there's other ways we can cover it. But what I want to talk about is showing this time of year. A lot of people get into a very reflective mood, starting to think about like what are they thankful for, what are they grateful for, what do they appreciate, stuff like that. So in a work environment, how can you show gratitude and appreciation without looking like an ass kisser? You're on mute. I can't hear you.
okay. People sneaking in here. I'm like, you're trying to be sneaky, but you're totally gonna show on camera. Okay, so gratitude. And I got a
Yeah,
new
like
pack.
showing gratitude and appreciation without being an ass kisser.
Yeah.
Because it's sometimes it is very easy to come off as that, and a lot of times people do that in such a phony way to gain points.
Yeah.
So I thought it'd be a good topic just to revisit, like, how do you do that? And I know the easy answer we're going to tackle right away is it all depends upon the rapport with the person that you have.
Hmm.
Yeah. And I mean, that's going to be the key thing. But what are some other thoughts around that? Like this time of year with, how do you show genuine appreciation?
I mean, I think the easy answer is authenticity. And authenticity is hard to scale, I think, but it's doable. And just think about, and I've thought about it for our own brand, in which we have, by design, we keep a fairly small book of business, so we have the luxury of providing a more one-to-one experience with our customers. I know as you scale, that can be very difficult, but think about the types of communications you get from companies on your meter of, is this authentic or not? How easy is it for you to say, this is a copy paste, boilerplate, mail merge, fill in the blank, automated system that they're sending me a message, versus, wow, wait a minute, someone actually put time into this message. How easy is it for you to detect that?
I mean, pretty quick, pretty easily.
Yeah. I think,
You
and I
you can
think,
tell when you get that email, like especially
yeah.
like we were talking about the pandemic in the beginning. We saw a lot of that at the beginning of the year. Like every
Hmm.
company sent out an email about COVID and how they care for people, and I'm like, 90% of these companies that are sending this out, they're doing it because they feel like they have to jump on the bandwagon of everybody else.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's right. And I get it, because especially when you're talking about massive customer bases, it's so incredibly difficult to scale that. But for most people, they can tell, and I think in most instances, those messages at best are meaningless, right? People
Mm-hmm.
are like, okay, and at worst, I think it potentially hurts brands to do that. It's interesting timing, and not from a gratitude perspective, but just from an authenticity perspective. I got an email this morning from someone, and it went something like this: "Hey Jason, we've been following 33 Sticks for years. We're big fans, and because of that, we want to help you with your next round of fundraising. Your first round probably wasn't as smooth as you would have liked it. Let me tell you a little about our service." I'm like, what? I mean, if you're big fans of us and been following us for years, it should be fairly evident that we're not a startup. We're not taking VC funding. We haven't had a round of funding, right? It's just a
Mm-hmm.
fishing expedition, and I get it. Like, from their perspective, like, if it doesn't hit, it doesn't hit. You're not the target audience, but still, like, it reflects poorly. Like, really, you're
Mm-hmm.
trying to be authentic, but people read through that so quickly. Um, but it's hard. I was thinking about it the other day. On our internal Slack, I asked if people can find good mailing addresses for people, because I wanted to spend Thanksgiving break maybe writing out some handwritten thank you cards for some of our customers. And I got thinking about some of the things that we've tried to put in place that maybe have not gone over as well, or have not taken off. And I think the reason for that is that we tried to operationalize it. We tried to make it a one size fits all. Like, well, every time we get a new customer, we send them a certain welcome package, or they get this certain thing. And it kind of lost the, um, I guess, weight and value of it being something unique and authentic. And so we've kind of pulled back from those things, and said, rather than trying to operationalize that, rather than trying to send the one size fits all, holiday message, or, you reach a certain milestone with clients and they get the same kind of treatment that you're thankful. Can we take advantage of, again, I'm speaking from our perspective where we have the luxury of a small client base, can we take advantage of that and send out more personalized communications to let the person know,
Mm-hmm.
like, you're not just one of a set of customers, you're someone unique to us. You're Carrie at Harvard Business Review, and we know what makes you tick and makes you special, and we want to speak to that. To me, I think that has huge difference. And I always go back to, and the discussion always is, well, that doesn't scale. And every time I hear that, I hear the words of Gary Vee. I think he talked about it a lot, but I think he talked about it a lot specifically in his book, The Thank You Economy, where early in his kind of career and thinking about his own brand, he used authenticity and being thankful and grateful for friends and business partners and customers, as a way to scale and grow his business. And everybody that kind of was like, that doesn't work, Gary. That may work now because you have 5 customers, but when you have 500, that doesn't work. And he always pushed back on that notion. And I'm sure at certain degrees it does. Like, you have to have more people in place to make those things scale. He can't do it one-on-one himself. But the idea of thinking about individuals as truly individuals is such a lost art, that it doesn't take a huge amount of effort or a big financial investment to make a massive impact in someone, where you take a few minutes out of your day to be authentic in recognizing your gratitude for them in a way that they can tell. Because as you mentioned, like, you can tell when I get something, that every time around this year, it's getting close to my birthday, I get a text from my insurance agent. The bullshit meter is like freaking out. I'm like, dude, I've probably spent hundreds of thousands of dollars with him over like 25 years. I've been with this insurance company.
Mm-hmm.
He can't send me a personalized text message, or better yet, I told him last year, I'm like, take me off the list because this makes me not like you. It is not a good feel. I bought a $75 order from a small company in California, and I've placed 2 orders with them. Both times, handwritten thank you note came with the order, and they were both very unique. And I could just tell instantly, like, this wasn't just a copy paste. This wasn't just someone cranking out notes. This was someone that sat down and was deliberate about writing me a thank you note. This is amazing.
Which company is that?
I don't know if I dare shout it out, but I will. It's called Topical. They're in the LA area. They do CBD products.
Okay, I can cut that out if you want.
No. I don't mind. Okay. I'm a big fan of what they do. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, no, I was just curious about that because, in recent years I've become very very aware of brand packaging, mm-hmm. and when you see care was taken into packaging it, like I ordered my wife a gift from the Magnolia Company. That's Chip and Joanna Gaines's company.
Yeah.
And like it everything is packaged. Their manifesto, what they believe in, what they stand for, is like right on top as you open everything up.
Yeah, so let's talk about that, because I think that is a way that you can operationalize and scale mm-hmm. gratitude for your customers. Because mm-hmm. in those instances, the gratitude comes not in the fact that, Chip and Joanna didn't sit down and write a personal message to you. I'm sure they get thousands and thousands of orders. They couldn't scale that. But the mm-hmm. gratitude comes in the fact that they prioritize the experience of you getting a product from them. Yeah. And that is a great way to show gratitude. You might as well just walk in here because it looks way funny when you're not fooling anybody. You're not fooling anybody, right?
No. It's 2 days before Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
we're already starting to check out.
That's awesome. I thought we have learned at this point, just walk in. Don't try to hide it, because it just you're not fooling anyone there. So my point being is that even if you can't generate a unique one-to-one personalized experience, you can express gratitude for a customer by showing them that you've taken time to deliberately create the experience of purchasing from them. To me, that's a phenomenal way of showing gratitude. And I'm glad you brought that up, because it reminded me of a similar experience. I just I don't know why, but I just felt like I needed to pick up an Apple Card. Mostly because it's literally made out of titanium and it's awesome. And I'm like, well, who doesn't need a metal credit card? That's super cool.
I might have to do that too, just for that reason.
You may have to do it just because of the process. I'd be interested to see what you think. The process from signing up to, I selected to also get it, it adds it to your wallet if you have an iPhone. Mm-hmm. But I selected to also get a physical, tangible card. And that part of it was so amazingly cool. Like how that thing showed up, and like with most Apple products, but opening up the package, and it came really exclusive, through this overnight shipping, and it was in this very exclusive container, and you open it up and then you use your phone to activate it. And the whole process of going through that, it's wow, they care that, we want to be an Apple Card customer. Like, they've thought through that entire process, and it was so phenomenal. And I'm guessing it's something similar with your experience with Magnolia, that like that gratitude for you being a customer comes across in the care they've taken in really defining what that experience, which so many companies don't do. Just think about it. Like, ordering a product from any retailer online, think about that experience. You can tell, I think, really instinctively, has this retailer put deliberate and thought into not only the ordering process. I think that's the easy part, right? Like, we talk about optimizing websites and checkout flows and what that experience is like, but that's only part of the journey. It has to be shipped to me. It arrives at my door. Once I receive it, I have to open the package. And you can tell that most retailers don't put any thought at all into that process past the checkout.
No, it's putting a brown box inside of another brown box with some kind of packaging and then tape and out the door.
The retailers that do, you can tell, and it creates just such a great experience. We talked about this a little bit. Jim and I met with some graduate students at East Tennessee State a couple of weeks ago. And I can't remember how it came up. They're marketing kind of brand students, and they're thinking about kind of customer experience. And it came up kind of what the new, I'm not going to use that term, what the new experiences with retailers look like, and how companies are having to spin up, new buy online, pick up in store, curbside pickup programs. And a lot of them are just out of necessity spinning it up. But there were a couple that we called out before that had this in place prior to the pandemic. And you can tell that they have put deliberate thought into, this isn't just a transaction that we need to optimize. It's an experience that we need to optimize, because we want to show that our customers that we're grateful for every sale that they transact with us. And the two that I called out, and if you work in business, if you work in creating experiences and marketing, do yourself a favor. And even if you don't like it, and even if you don't need anything, download both the Chick-fil-A app and the Target app, and do a curbside pickup at each of those locations, and just see how phenomenal that experience is from end to end. You can tell that both of those companies have put a massive amount of thought into the entire customer experience. Again, speaking of gratitude, that, we don't see you as just a transaction. And we may not be able to scale one-to-one. I may never show up to Target and say, "Oh, hey, Jason," sure, because they know my name on the order, but they don't know me. But they can scale the gratitude by putting the thought into the experience. And to me, I feel that warmness of gratitude, that it's like they care about me as a customer enough to really put thought into what this experience is going to be for me.
Yeah. And so my wife swears by the Target app and curbside pickup, especially. And it was even, she started using it before the pandemic with the baby. Like if she had to run out and do errands, and like, especially the summer since she's off and I'm home working, like it was hard to take an infant out just to go in and get 2 or 3 things. So she'd put him in the car, order the stuff via curbside, pull up, they put it right in, and then she'd come back home. So she swears by that. I've done the Chick-fil-A ordering a couple times, and super, super easy.
Yeah.
And like, as you were talking, like, I was thinking about like the experience I'm currently going through right now with the bank we're working with for the mortgage for the house. And like, it's been a horrible experience. Like,
yeah. Keep going.
Okay. I thought you were looking for something.
No, I am, but keep going.
So like, this experience has been really, really bad. Like, I felt in the dark at times, and like, requests for information comes out like at the last minute. And I'm like, why didn't you tell me that 2 weeks ago when I was scrounging for statements and account information and other details like that? Why didn't you ask me then? It's, you asked me for something, now you're asking, like, these little drips and drabs for requests. And finally, the other day, with everything we've got going on at the moment, I finally went to Suzanne and said, I need you to deal with them. I can't talk to them right now. Yeah. They're driving me up a wall. It's the point where I have to go back and amend the agreement of sale with the owner to push the settlement into December. We were hoping to have it done by next Monday.
Yeah, I think, and for some of those, especially like mortgages and um, bigger payments, think about car buying. I think a lot of those companies and salespeople see those as very rare, and companies see it as, Jim may never get another mortgage from us again, right? Like it's a long time thing. And car dealerships, like the salesperson's like, it's going to be 3 or 4 years before Jim buys a new car, and I'm going to have like 5 new jobs in between then. So I
Mm.
think they don't think about the experience. But as you were talking about it, and what I was looking for is the book. I sent the book to everyone on the team. The what I can't remember, the Moments book.
Yes. Yep.
You know what
I
I'm
read it
talking
last
about?
year. Yeah.
And in there, they specifically call out banking and home mortgages as such an ideal. I don't know if you remember that. That feed, is it called Thinking in Moments or something like that?
Yeah.
um
I've got it right over here.
the idea about celebrating moments and thinking about the process, and it's just interesting that they specifically called out home mortgages and applying for it as something that's so horrifically bad yet so primed for creating great customer experiences. Yeah, the power of moments. It's such a good read when you think about being thankful and showing gratitude for your customers.
Hmm.
That book is full of great ideas about how to show gratitude and be grateful for in this sense, from a business standpoint, for customers. But yeah, I mean, it's such a great opportunity to curate that experience, but no one is doing it. And again, it doesn't need to be a one-to-one, we're going to make this special and unique for Jim, but it should be, we need to put the time into thinking about this process to make it a bit nicer, right?
Hmm.
And there's so many different areas where that can come into play. Just think about, not only, we're talking real estate, not only the mortgage side of it, but think about, I know your situation's a little bit different, but dealing with realtors and like finding houses and that whole experience, and everything, most things just seem to be transactional in nature. We just need to optimize the transaction, but we're humans. Like, we have emotions and feelings, and you have to optimize the experience of that. And that creates, I think, a lot of gratitude. And in the case of a home mortgage, that may not pay off instantly, but think about you having a good experience and you feeling like they're truly grateful for your business. What are you more likely to do if you get a home loan in the future? Go back, tell your friends, as you hear about it on social media, say, oh, you should try, like, the experience is amazing. But they can't, most companies can't think that
Hmm.
far out. So it never happens, you know?
Yeah. And like with this one, I get the feeling that a lot of times, like a lot of this would have been handled in person. Like, come in, come in for 2 hours this night. We'll go through everything you need to do so you can plan out what you get. Instead, it's just handling it through email. And that's why it's coming in like, oh, we need this from you now. And oh, we need that from you now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, that's, yeah, like I'm like, I get half answers at times too, and I'm like, I get it. They're also busy. Listen, I know, like right now, it's a golden age for mortgages with
Mm-hmm.
the record low interest rates, and
Yeah.
I get it. They're probably underwater, and that's the only thing that's prevented me from like kind of going completely off. But I would just love to say, like, like this experience has been awful. Like, I am
Yeah.
stressed out because I feel like I'm in the dark. I feel like I don't, like, I'm getting like, well, we need this, but like there's no why. You know,
So
we,
yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say, like, at one point, like, we need to move the settlement into December. Why? Like, just you're not telling me why we need to it. The justification for it. Like, if you say like
Yeah.
there is just a backlog with the state getting titles processed and whatnot, okay then. But it's like, so I'm frustrated with that. And
Yeah.
at this point, I'm just gonna ramble.
So let me ask you this, because I think there are occasions where, sure, we can advise companies, and as a company we can look at creating better experiences to show our gratitude to our customers. That may be a longer fix. Let me ask you how much weight it would carry if, yeah, there's a lot of mortgage right now, record low rates, as you mentioned. A lot of people are in the funnel. They're overwhelmed. A lot of their processes are clunky, especially going to mostly online to avoid, direct contact. Their online systems are clunky. That isn't going to be fixed overnight. But how much weight would it carry if someone in that process were to pick up the phone and take 5 minutes out of their day and say, "Hey, Jim, this is Mike over at Mortgage Company XYZ. We really appreciate your business. We know that this is clunky. We're overwhelmed. We're trying to make this a good experience. I wish I could fix all these things. I can't do it. Here's what's happening. Here's what we're trying to do. Is there anything we can do to make this better?" Even if they can't, how much would it mean to you that someone would take just a few minutes? I'm just talking less than 10 minutes out of their day to connect with you personally.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it would be huge. It
Yeah.
would be huge that I would feel like that there's justification then in some of the requests or the way the requests are coming in, that,
Mm-hmm.
they're just jumping from one to the next. I think the worst part is in some ways just being in the dark.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then at one point I emailed somebody else involved and they never got back to me. So, and I'm just like, it was somebody that, from the owner side of the transaction. So I end up calling the owner, who, I'm friends with. And I'm just like, what's the deal? Like, they're not getting back to me. I'm in the dark. I'll be honest, I had to wire a couple $1,000s. And I'm like, can someone get back to me before I just blindly send this?
Yeah. Yeah. And honestly, I think that to me is the most fascinating and compelling part of anybody that wants to do anything really in life, that taking just a few minutes to be authentic and connect on a personal level is such a differentiator. You may not be the biggest, the best, the fastest, the smartest, the most, you may not have the most earth-shattering ideas, but I will tell you that having that sense of gratitude for people you work with, for potential customers, for customers, puts people in such a rarefied class that they don't have to be the best. They don't have to be the smartest, and they will absolutely stand out and thrive. I don't know why it's so difficult to do. I'm reminded of there's a small bank here in Utah called Central Bank. And there are a handful of branches, maybe less than 10 in the area. And I have just been amazed watching the way that they do business. And my grandparents were customers of theirs for decades. And when my grandparents passed, they took personal interest in helping me take care of all the finances and everything. But even before that, and it's timing around Thanksgiving and the holidays, they did thank you things, but it was process, right? It was operationalized, right? It'd be like a fruit basket or a gift basket, but they would physically drive to customers' homes and hand it to them and spend 10 minutes with them saying how grateful they were for their business, and that, and not only that, they would know a thing or two. My grandpa loved gardening, and he purchased an empty building lot about a quarter mile from his house to build a farm on. It was his little kind of hobby farm. So he would leave the house in his little truck and go to his hobby farm, and he had a little well, and the whole building lot was his garden, and he loved doing that, and he was really proud of
Oh,
it.
fun.
And I swear it didn't matter who was in the bank. And, when I was dealing with their finances, trying to kind of figure everything out, didn't matter who was in the bank. I would walk in there and I'm just like, hey, my grandpa's Frank Buffo. And they're like, oh, we loved his garden. And he would come around and bring us vegetables. And he was so proud
Oh,
of
that's
that.
so
And,
awesome.
the fact that, they would know those little things, it didn't take a whole lot of effort, and again, delivering the thank you gifts around the holidays and knowing a little something about their customers, it just made all the difference in the world. And sure, like that's just a tiny part of being a well-run operational business, but man, those little personal touches of gratitude set them apart and still do to this day. And my finances, having been at the same bank for 20 something years seem to be so spaghettied. I fear changing banks, but every once in a while when my bank just doesn't necessarily not do something well, but just kind of irritate me a little bit. I'm like, I wish I was over at that other bank. I wish I had that experience. I'm so jealous of everybody that banks there, you know? And it's not that my bank is bad, but they just don't care, right? It's just it's just a trend. I'm a transaction to them. And one of the things that is really interesting to me, and I think we're already seeing this because man, what millennials are in their late 30s now, and at the higher end of that range for that segment, they've got some real purchasing power, and the generations coming behind them. I don't know if you see it, but I see them really demanding more personalized touches. They really demand having gratitude as part of the process, and it's awesome to see. I really want to see that happen, and I think businesses and individuals that embrace that are going to win in the next decade for sure.
Oh yeah,
For
like I mean,
sure.
you've seen that coming in the form of just like the mega malls disappearing and them being replaced by like those boutique town square kind of things. Now, granted, they're still a bit more manufactured, but people have, you know, our parents' generation, they shopped at Sears. Sears is a dying brand.
Yeah.
They shopped at big box department stores. They're a dying breed. You know,
Yeah.
so the first step you saw and what you were talking about there is people wanting that personalized experience. And now you're going to see it go to the next step where it's like, you know, I really want you to know who I am. And I really want you to care that I'm a customer, not that
Yeah.
I'm here walking up to a cashier and, you know, paying and walking out.
Yeah, it's going to be such an interesting thing. In fact, I was talking with one of our clients yesterday about everyone's kind of freaking out about cookies and our cookies going away and what data can we capture. And I said, I think these are all the wrong discussions to have. I said, the discussion really needs to be not how we can technically be able to do these things, not how we can, you know, come up with workarounds or hacks for C names or link decorations or whatever. Like there's so many gurus out there talking about how to track all of this data from a transactional perspective. I'm like, we're missing the big picture here. Why can't we have a true partnership with our customers? And, you know, talking about gratitude and creating unique experiences rather than trying to trick them or be less than transparent about the data we're capturing about them. Why can't we have an open conversation and say, you know that boutique experience you want? You know, yeah, we're not a mom and pop down on Main Street, but we can still give you that experience. We know a lot about you that you're willing to share with us. If you want us to help create and curate that a unique experience for you, let's do that. And here's what's going to take for us to do that. You're going to have to be willing to share with us things like, you know, what's your favorite color? What's your birth date? What's, you know, and if you want that experience, this is what we're going to use that data for to curate that experience. I think that's what the conversation needs to be, because again, a lot of these things are hard to scale, but if we have the insights, if we have the data, and we do it in a way that's transparent about our desire to be grateful for every transaction, and by doing that, showing that gratitude through creating really well thought out experiences for our customers. So, yeah, it's just lots of interesting angles, and this probably wasn't the direction maybe you were thinking of from a gratitude standpoint, but I think I think it's just such a good fit, and it's something that, man, now more than ever companies should be thinking about, as companies struggle, and some more than others, you know, travel and tourism, restaurants. Man, what better time than ever to show your customers that you're grateful for every transaction that they have with you, you know? And I maybe I'm making it sound easier than it is, but on the grand scheme of all the hard things we do, being thankful and showing gratitude and showing personal care is really actually easy. It's just about us, one, recognizing that it's important, embracing it, and two, carving out a little bit of time. You know, I think about the restaurant example a lot. And I think about restaurants that I find myself, and I unfortunately during the pandemic have not done a lot of uh, outdoor or eating at restaurants. But thinking historically about restaurants that I tend to frequent, there's one common theme, and it's that they care. It's either I know the owner and they've developed a relationship with me, and it's one of those things where you can walk in and I'm like, hey, Jason, that just feels super cool. Or the staff is trained in such a way to take a few minutes just to be not fake friendly, not the, hey, Jason, we've been following your company for years and want to invest in your next round of fundraising, but truly take a minute to connect with you as a human on a one-to-one basis. It instantly passes the smell test and it stands out and it makes such an amazing, and it just doesn't take a lot of effort. It doesn't take a huge investment to have that connection. And I just find myself constantly going back to those places because it just feels so good. And I feel like they're truly thankful for my business. And I think that can be scaled to any business. I think the low hanging fruit are the ones that you've mentioned, like, and we've talked about it, like financing, banks, mortgage companies, transactional things like real estate. Like so many of these are such horrible, clunky experiences. Man, it's like, man, it wouldn't take a lot just to tweak a little thing here and you would make a huge difference. You would instantly be an outlier in a space that is just, I mean, think about car buying, like crappy experiences. I bought a car
Hate
online.
it.
It was the most amazing experience ever. They drove it to my house, dropped it off. I'm like, I am never going to a dealership again. This experience was amazing. So it can be so easy to I hate to use the term disrupt industries, but gratitude and truly caring about your customers seems like such a low level of investment to make happen with huge return on those investments. So
Yeah. And I think that this was a great take on it. It's, last year, again, I didn't listen to the episode, but I remember it was like showing gratitude to your coworkers and your employers and whatnot. This perspective of, optimizing the entire experience for your customers as a way of showing gratitude for their business. I think it's great. And honestly, it's a great pairing with the recent episode we had of just like being human at work, because to your point of showing appreciation to customers and clients requires a human side. You can't be a machine. You can't expect it to just be a purely transactional relationship. I give you product, you give me, money, and it's done.
And it can be done it can be done in every industry, even industries that are I have two examples. So even industries that are turnkey. So think about any good experiences you've had with a call center. Most of them are probably horrifically bad. And there are a few, and I've had a couple that have stood out where I'm like, wow, that was an amazing experience. And you even know they have to follow kind of a script. And, if you say that, then we say this, you can tell that there's a personal component to it. My experience was with Apple. So I have a MacBook Pro that the battery bulged. And I called them and tried to figure out, do I take it into an Apple store? And we ultimately figured they would ship me a package and I would ship it back to them. I know that like most of that transaction was a script, but I could also tell that there was this human element and connection that just made it feel different than every other call center action experience I've had. And so even in those cases, it can stand out. The last one, or the other one I'll mention, because my 5-year-old loves it, is, and this is very unique to this one location, is McDonald's in American Fork, Utah. There's a guy that works the drive-through that is the happiest, most friendly. And when there's kids in the car, he kind of plays these different characters and voices. And there's another guy at our Little Caesars down the street that does this similar thing. I'm like, this is so cool. Like, this is such a turnkey, here's how you make the food. Here's how you, pass stuff through the drive-through to have it done in record time. But that little investment of being personable and being an actual human instead of a corporate clone, I drive out of my way to go to those locations because it is just such a cool, fun, personal, real human experience,
You made me think of something from back when I was a kid, like when I was like 8, 10 years old. Um, like at one point, our Friday night tradition as a family was we would go out and run some errands, and then we'd end at this Pizza Hut. And it was when the
Mm.
Pizza Hut, they had the dining room, you would come
Yeah, I
in
remember.
and
Yeah.
whatnot. We got the same waiter every week. And well, okay, maybe not every week we went, but like pretty much like at least 2 out of 4 Fridays a month we would be there. Well, he was there every week, and he would get to know us every time. So it became like a joke. Like, we'd come in, he'd see us, he'd make sure we sat, we were seated where he was serving, and he knew what we wanted, and he'd talk to us and come over and have fun with us. And yeah, you made me think of that just as a kid, like, seeing the same person every week.
Yeah, it's so cool, and again, like you remember it. It creates, talking about creating powerful moments, like that is important. And again, regardless of what industry you're in or what role or level you are in an organization, you can implement this in everything you do. And the key is authenticity.
Mhm.
Be authentic about it. So here's my challenge, as we're in this season of giving thanks and being grateful. Take a few minutes in the next coming few weeks and just try this. When you're on your next conference call, don't fall into the trap of having the forced chitter chatter before the call, and then you get, like, truly connect with someone, like truly care about what's important to them, and see what a difference it makes. Take a few minutes and write a handwritten thank you card to a colleague, to a customer, to a friend in the industry that's helped you out. Look for little moments to take a little bit of time, maybe a small financial investment, and truly do something to show gratitude and be 100% authentic about it. And notice what an amazing impact and powerful moment that creates. That's my challenge to
Mhm.
everybody listening.
That's great. Yep. Love it. And let's go ahead and wrap up with that then.
Sounds good. Good
Cool,
conversation.
man. Well, this was a lot of fun. Like I said, I really enjoyed the take on it. I thought it was something, in an interesting way to look at it.
Yeah, for sure. I'm glad we did it. Enjoy your Thanksgiving. Be grateful and
You
show
too.
authentic gratitude.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Well, thank you
Bye.
much. Catch everybody later.
See you.